Hi guys, this is Amar and welcome to amar.techstuff. So guys, in this video we're going to focus on top 10 Etherchannel interview question and answers. So this is our question number 1. What is Etherchannel and why do we need it? So the answer to this question is that Etherchannel is a method of logical bundling of multiple physical links into a single logical link or logical channel. So bundling of multiple into single, and that is multiple physical links into single logical link or logical channel. So this is what Etherchannel is. But the real question is, why do we need it? So let's consider we have these two switches, switch 1 and let's say another switch, switch 2, and we have a link between those two switches, of course, to connect them. And let's say that the traffic between or the communication between the switch 1 and switch 2 increases. So once it increases and it have only a single link, this link is going to be overutilized. And if a link get overutilized, it will of course drop the traffic. So to avoid this, what a network administrator will do is he will introduce one more link. But what STP, which is spanning tree protocol running by default on the switches, will do is it will going to block one of these two links to avoid the loop. So let's say it blocked this link. Now network administrator introduced this link and again this link get blocked. So what is the use? The use is that network administrator have just achieved redundancy, but the real problem of overutilization still exists. So to overcome this, Etherchannel can help us. What the network administrator can do is he can put this links, both this physical link, into a single logical link known as Etherchannel or port channel. Okay, so by using this, what is going to happen is that we're going to achieve more bandwidth in this, and this link are going to be utilized. We are having more bandwidth, and again the other advantage is redundancy, because again we are having two links, so we are going to get the benefit of redundancy only. So this is why Etherchannels are introduced in the network and they are very useful in the network. So guys, always remember that what is Etherchannel is bundling of multiple physical links into single logical link. And again, we have studied what is the advantages and why we need Etherchannel in our network. So let's move on to the next question. So question number 2, how many links we can bundle into one Etherchannel? We can assign up to 16 physical interfaces to an Etherchannel, but only 8 interfaces will be active at a time and remaining will be in standby. So up to 16 physical interfaces, like if you have these two switches, okay, then up to, let's say, link number 1, link number 2 till link number 16, we can bundle it into an Etherchannel. We can actually assign to an Etherchannel, but I've written here assign, okay, but only 8 interfaces will be in active at a time and the remaining will be standby. I'll explain you. Like let's say we have this 16 physical interfaces assigned to a port channel. Let's say port channel 1, okay, that is Etherchannel. We have till link number from link number 1 to till 16. Okay, now out of this 16 links, out of the 16 physical interfaces, only 8 will be active. So when I say 8 will be active and the remaining 8 will be standby. So when I say 8 will be active, that means the traffic through these 8 links, 8 active links will be allowed or will flow, and whereas there will be no traffic flowing through this remaining 8 standby links. Now in case let's out of this 8 a link fails, then out of this 8 one link will become from standby to active. So that is what the purpose is. So we can assign up to 16 physical interfaces to Etherchannel, but guys, always do remember, this is very, very, very important point, that only 8 interfaces at a time will be active. So again, how many links can be bundled into an Ether channel? The correct answer would be, we can say 8 links, because only 8 links can be active at a time in an Ether channel. Question number 3. Is it possible to configure Ether channel between different devices? This is a question, guys, is put forward to the candidate to actually confuse it. But the candidates should not get confused, whoever candidates are watching this video, because the answer is yes. Yes, guys, we can configure Ether channel between a switch. Let's say we have a switch, okay, and a server. So if you want to configure Ether channel between them, yes, we can configure Ether channel between them. We can also configure Ether channel between a switch and a router. So guys, also do remember this point. So guys, question number 4. What are the requirements for Ether channel? Now, there are certain criteria that should be matched to actually form the Ether channel. Like the first criteria I've wrote here, that all the ports must have same speed and duplex. So if you have different ports, like let's say this is the 2 switches, okay, and you have multiple ports and you're planning to put them into Ether channel, then all these ports should have same speed and duplex setting. Okay, like if this particular port, it is in 1G and this port is in 10G, you cannot make these 2 ports into a single Ether channel. The Ether channel is not going to come up because the speed of these ports are different. They have to be same. All the ports must be in the same switch port mode, either access or trunk. Like if again, I'll draw the same diagram. This time only 2 links. Like if this port is in access and this port is in trunk, the Ether channel is not going to come up. Either this port should be access or both of them port should be trunk. So the switch port mode should be same, either access or trunk. Then only Ether channel will come up. Also, the native VLAN should match, should be same. The allowed VLANs should be same. Like if, for example, on this particular a port you are allowing VLAN, let's say at 10 and 20, and on this port if you are allowing VLAN 10, 20 and 30, the allowed VLANs are not same. The Ether channel is not going to come up. Okay, even the trunking encapsulation protocol should be same. Like if you are using let's say .1 queue over here, and let's say the trunking protocol ISL over here, then also the Ether channel is not going to come up. The trunking encapsulation protocol also needs to be same. That is, if here it is .1 queue, then here also it should be .1 queue. So that should be also same. And guys, if any port is a span port, that is some participating in some port mirroring, then that ports will not make that Ether channel come up. So these are the few requirements for the Ether channel to come up: the speed, duplex, the switch port mode, the VLANs, the trunking encapsulation protocol, and again the span port. It should not be a span port. So guys, do remember these points, because this is again a very important question. Let's move on to the next question. Ether channels is layer 2 or layer 3? Ether channel, we can configure Ether channel, guys, in both in layer 2 as well as in layer 3, and it's all depends upon the requirement. What is the requirement? It depends upon that. If layer 2 is required, we can do so. If layer 3 is required, we can do so. So always, guys, remember that Ether channel can be configured in layer 2 as well as in layer 3. Now, when we are configuring in layer 2, these ports, like these ports will be switch port, and when we are configuring layer 3, we have to make this ports as no switch port. Okay, remember ports of the Ether channel, no switch ports. Okay, so do remember this point. And the second point is that for the layer 2 Ether channel, layer 2 port channel, we are not going to give any IP address, whereas for layer 3 we have to give some IP address to the port channel or the Ether channel. So also do remember this point. So this is actually the difference between layer 2 and layer 3 ether channel. And yes, we can configure a layer 2 ether channel as well as layer 3 ether channel, but it all depends upon the requirement. So you can answer in this way in your interviews. Let's move on to the next question, which is a bit interesting, and I'll say the most important question. In how many ways can you configure ether channel? So guys, we can configure ether channel in multiple ways. One is without any protocol, that is manual, where negotiation is disabled. Since we are using manual method, so there is no negotiation, no protocol, no negotiation. And the other is with protocol, that is either LSCP or PAGP. We can use either of them. LSCP is this is open standard or industry standard, and this is, guys, Cisco proprietary, that is PAGP. Now depending on on what we are using, either we are using manual or protocol, again which protocol we are using, either LSCP or PAGP, depending upon that there are 5 modes available to configure ether channel. The first is on, because like if you're using manual, then you have to configure it the mode as on for the ports in the ether channel. And if you are going for LSCP, then you have 2 options, that is active and passive mode. If you're going for PAGP, you have again 2 options, desirable and auto. Active means if the interface we have configured in this active mode, then that interface will actively try to form the ether channel. Okay, this is the same thing with the PAGP desirable as well. It will actually actively try to form the ether channel, whereas if you're configuring it in passive, then it won't actively, but it will passively try to form the ether channel. And that is the same case with PAGP's auto mode. So active, passive in LSCP, and desirable and auto in PAGP. So always do remember this thing, and this is, guys, very important question, which is almost asked whenever you are going to face ether channel interview. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. How to configure ether channel mode between 2 switches? Now, if you have these 2 switches, okay, I'll just draw the diagram for better understanding. So if you have these 2 switches, let's say these are the 4 links between these switches. Okay, this is, let's say, fast Ethernet 0/1. Here also fast Ethernet 0/1, and then 0/2, 0/3, 0/4. Here also like this. Okay. Now, how are you going to configure the ether channel between them? What you're going to do is we are going to configure some same stuff, some same configuration on this all the ports. So you can use this range command. So interface range fast Ethernet 0/1 to 0/4. Now I'm using this range command, means the configuration will be applicable from port number fast Ethernet 0/1 to fast Ethernet 0/4. So this is the command. Once I go into the interface configuration mode, channel group. So channel group is nothing but the ether channel. Channel group, this is 10. 10 is the number of that ether channel. We have assigned a number to that ether channel, and followed by this keyword mode, and then followed by the actual mode. So we have 5 options over here. On means, as you know, that manual. Auto and desirable are for, if you're going for PAGP, you can use these 2 options, or a passive or active. These options are available with LSCP protocol, which is open standard protocol. So this is how we can configure our ether channel mode between the 2 switches. Let's move on to the next question, that is question number 8. How to troubleshoot the ether channel when the interfaces are configured in LSCP passive mode on both the switches? Now, this is again an important question, maybe a troubleshooting question to check your concept. But the guys who are very strong with their concept are not going to give wrong answer for this question, because the question itself is saying that there are interfaces which are configured in LSCP passive mode on both the switches. So here it is like, that this particular interfaces are configured. Let's say here it is configured in passive, and here also it is configured in passive. As I told you in the last question, that passive means it is going to passively try to form the ether channel. Now, in case both are passive, okay, this port is going to try to passively configure the ether channel, and this port is also going to try to passively form the ether channel. At the end, ether channel is not going to get formed between them. So if the interfaces are configured in passive mode on both these switches, then the ether channel won't come up. To troubleshoot, we need to configure the interfaces on one of the switches at least to active. At least this port should be active. One of the ports should be active. If both the ports are active, that is good. So there are certain criterias, or there are certain combinations, I will say. Again, this can be another interview question, that in which combinations will the ether channel come up. Like we have studied that there are 5 modes, okay, on. Okay, then we have studied with LSCP active, passive with LSCP, except for LSCP, right? And for PAGP, we have studied it like auto and desirable. Now, if we have like, this is end A and this is another end, let's say B, or switch 1 or switch 2, like that. So if we have on and on, the ether channel is going to form. Okay, if we have on over here, the mode is on over here, and on over here, the ether channel is going to get formed. If we have active and active on both the end, yes, the ether channel is going to get formed, because here, if it is when it is inactive, it is going to actively try to form the ether channel, and here is also active. So again, he is also going to actively try to form the ether channel, and they will form an ether channel. If this end is active and this end is passive, it is going to work. This passive and this active, again, it is going to work. I'll just move on over here, A and B nodes. If this is auto and this is auto, that is PAGP auto and PAGP auto, it is not going to form the ether channel, because again, auto is something similar to LSCP's passive. It is passively going to try to form the ether channel, and the ether channel is not going to get formed. If this is active and this is desirable means it is desiring to form the ether channel, actively trying to form the ether channel, then yes, the ether channel is going to get formed. So in this way, this modes work. So whenever you're configuring or troubleshooting ether channel, mainly troubleshooting ether channel, you should remember this particular point, that in which all combinations the ether channel is going to come up. So guys, always do remember this points. Let's move on to the next question, that is question number 9. What are the load balancing methods supported by ether channel? So ether channels, there are multiple load balancing methods supported by ether channel, and very easy to remember. These are the 9 methods which I have mentioned over here. Source IP, destination IP, then the combination of source and destination IP. Source MAC address, destination MAC address, and the combination of source and destination MAC address. Source port number, destination port number, and the combination of source and destination port number. So these are the load balancing mechanism which are supported in ether channel, by ether channel. This is again a question which is asked frequently in your interviews. You can answer this, and very easy to remember this particular 9 methods which are supported for load balancing in ether channel. So let's move to the next question, that is the last question, question number 10. What is port priority value in LSCP? So basically, what is port priority? It is actually an additional configurational stuff in LSCP, which is used to determine which ports can become active in ether channel and which ports to become standby when there's a limitation that prevents all the compatible ports from aggregating. As we saw in the question number, I think so 2, where we saw that we had 2 switches and there were multiple links, let's say link 1 till link 16. So out of the 16 links, only 8 links, as we have seen, that only 8 links can be part of the ether channel at a time, right? That will be active, and the others will be standby. So this port priority actually decides which ports will be inactive in Etherchannel and which ports to become standby in Etherchannel. So this is a deciding point of active and standby in Etherchannel. So the lower value means higher preferred, so lower is better, and the values range from 1 to 65,535. By default, the value is 32768. Okay. And if you want to change the priority from default to any other priority, then under this interface mode, you have to go and give this command lscp port priority followed by the priority number. So this is how we can configure it. So these are the 10 question and answers related to Etherchannel, which I thought are most frequently asked question whenever interview on Etherchannel is done, because Etherchannel is again a very important topic whenever you are preparing for your routing switching interviews. So guys, I'll stop here in this video. I'll catch up in the next video, and if you guys really find this video informative, I will request you to please share this video, like this video, subscribe to my channel amar.techstuff. I'll catch up you in the next video. Till then, bye, thanks, and take care.